Hey everybody, I'm Dan Hodgman with Top Step. Today I'm sitting down with another funded trader, Rob, out of Chicago. We just found out we were neighbors basically at one point and never realized it. Rob, how are things going for you?
Things are going well. Things are getting a little cold here. Leaves are falling, but yeah, things are good.
So you're in Chicago, you're from Jersey, and you're wearing a Yankees hat. Throws
I
me
am.
off.
I know, right? From South Jersey, so split between New York and Philadelphia. So yeah, but you got to choose one side.
Absolutely. So you just got going in your funded account here, and you just told me you were taking your time. You took a week off. Now you're just kind of getting back into the swing of things. What are you doing right now that you're really focusing on when you say you're taking your time?
I think the hardest part of trading is that I'm always kind of like fighting with myself. I'm not necessarily competing with the market. I'm almost competing with myself. So it's kind of when I take my time, I mean, I really try to limit how many trades I take per day and really kind of slow down because I found out one of my bigger problems through the whole combine process was that I could find myself taking kind of like a machine gun trade approach where I would take one trade, another trade, and then 10 minutes, I'd find myself six trades deep going, why did I take four of those six trades without a reason? So I kind of slowed down and made myself really only take three trades a day, and limited myself to that so that I was kind of almost forcing myself to think about my execution, my plan, and like what would happen if this happened or that happened kind of thing when I was actually in the trade.
Absolutely. I think it's so important. You got to back up. You got to get that bigger picture, or as some people say, the 30,000 viewpoint to understand what's going on and being
Mhm.
patient. The more patient you are, if you restrict yourself, it's going to force you to wait for those better opportunities when there's no restriction on how many trades you're going to take. Anything that shows it's okay, well, let's try and let's try and let's try. And eventually
Yeah.
it's going to hurt. What are some of the products you're trading?
So, I mean, I've kind of been run the gambit throughout the whole combine process. I mean, I did the ES, crude, the 30-year, but I think I've really kind of settled on not your typical products. So I trade the Dow, I trade the YM,
Mhm.
and I trade the Ultra Bond. It's kind of what I've settled on. So CBOE products.
I love
Um,
that you trade the Ultra Bond. I know we've talked about it in the past. I don't know many people that do it. The first time I saw it was on a trading card when I was a little kid checking trades, and I knew Z's, or I knew ZB. I knew that was the bond, and then all of a sudden the UB came in, and I was really confused. I'm like, what the heck's a UB? And I thought I was just like misreading something or something I should have known that I didn't know, because we never saw it traded on the floor or where I was at in the 30-year option pit. And all of a sudden it came in and said, here, you trade it. What do you like about it?
I like it because I like having being involved in the interest rate market. I like something that usually moves counter to equities.
Hmm.
Um, so they're not necessarily trading in lockstep, but they're slightly different. When equities go higher, you sometimes expect bonds to go down. So I like that aspect of it, and that it's just not they kind of play off one another. The other side is I got into the 30-year a little bit, but I didn't like how much it didn't move. It didn't move as much. And then when I discovered the Ultra Bond and that how much more it moves with the same tick size, um, I mean, the market fundamentally doesn't trade much differently, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I mean, it's pretty precise in terms of its how it moves. It leaves a lot of exact highs and lows, and it kind of throws you off there. But I like how much more it moves than it does the 30-year, but with the same tick size.
How was it seeing those bigger dollars every ticket move? Did you have an issue with that in the beginning?
In the beginning, yeah, because I mean, it doesn't necessarily move that quickly either. So I mean, sometimes you can be wrong in that trade and sit in it for 45 minutes with it only moving maybe a couple ticks, and you'll be sitting there going, okay, am I wrong on this? Got to just be patient, sit in the trade, and let it play out.
Hmm.
So originally, it was a little frustrating just simply because it would be risking six ticks on that, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this is going to take a while to play out.
Yeah.
So I got a little frustrated because you have to be a little bit more precise in where you want to enter the trade, and then make sure you're close enough to your point of invalidation that you're not sitting there after the trade going, crap, that was not the place I needed to get long. I needed to be a little bit more
Right.
patient and wait for the better entry. Um, so I think it's frustrating getting used to the large tick size, because it was like, in the Dow or even in the ES, I mean, you could sit there and you could have a little bit more slack on your entry because it moved a whole lot more. I think with the UV, it's just, I really kind of need to be picking my locations and being a little bit more precise, and not being as flexible with my entries, because I mean,
I
you get
think
6
it's
ticks on it and it
right.
goes the wrong way quickly.
I think it's an educator too. I think a lot of people they come in and the first thing that you look at right now, everyone wants to look at the Nasdaq. It's fast, it moves, things are happening, and if that's something you're interested by all means, but you start to get in this habit of thinking that there's going to be 75 trades in a day, all
Mhm.
of a sudden if you kind of want to slow things down, go look at the ultra bond, go look at the 30 year where things are really slow and you're
Right.
going to have to sit back. And I think that's a great practice to start to build in trading. And I think that was one of my biggest benefits looking at, I've been a bonds guy since I was a little kid.
Mhm.
That was what you did. You didn't get 10 trades in a day. You got two, three trades maybe in a day.
Exactly, yeah. And I mean, the product itself almost teaches patience, right?
Right.
So, I mean,
What are you looking for to enter then into these markets?
so I utilize market profile. So I'm not necessarily trading a system by any means,
Hmm.
just purely discretionary. So, I mean, when I look, I'm kind of looking at short time frame levels. So value area, point of controls, weak highs and lows, things like that. So, but I mean, I every day I have a daily trade plan that I start, and I literally go from the monthly down to the daily, determining trend and what's going on when I look at those charts, in the regular time frame, and then I look at the profiles for any nuances in direction or change of direction. So I really don't have anything I specifically look for. It's really just kind of waiting for market generated information to give it to me, in real time. But I kind of lay out a couple scenarios in the beginning of the day. What happens if the market goes higher? What happens if the market goes lower? What are we looking for in a balanced day, kind of thing? And then I kind of mark out my areas of support and resistance, and kind of see what the market gives me at the day.
Sounds like you've been working with John Hoagland a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. John and
How
I have talked a lot and have been part of the performance coaching plan for, was it a little over a year at this point?
and how has that been for you?
It's changed my trading. I mean, 180 degrees. I mean, it's turned it around completely. I mean, I've been trading for a hobby since I graduated college in, gosh, '09. So, um, hasn't been a profession, but I mean, it's always been something I've been interested in. But I mean, I've gone from everything to every technical indicator you can imagine. Just went
Right.
from bar charts, gosh, reading books from somebody like Alexander Elder, which tells you to use like 5 different technical indicators and oscillators and stuff like that, where it's almost information overload. You just don't
It's
know what
like
to
these
do.
three cross, if the moon is eclipsing the sun,
Exactly.
that's when
Yeah.
you go long. Like it
In
gets
the
to a point where it's like, what am I actually looking for?
Right. I'm in the Chinese year of the dog, which means I need to buy the low.
Right.
It's just, I don't, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I've gone through using dozens of indicators and all of this technical analysis. And I mean, it has its place for sure. So don't want to knock it. But what I found for me and what John has helped me find is that simpler is better for me. I've eliminated most indicators. I use a 100 and 200 day SMA mainly, and that's on a longer time frame. And then I use the profiles during the daytime frame. So it's really just kind of waiting for the market to give me the information that I need, to make my trades. I try not to look at indicators because they tend to lead me astray. And then, yeah, it's just more of just trying to trust myself, know when I see the opportunity and know when I don't see an opportunity, and to sit on my hands. Because I mean, when I first started trading with Top Step in the combines, um, like was explaining earlier, I mean, it was just a lot of trades all at once. And I just found myself digging us in a hole more and more every trade I took. So, um, yeah, working with John and just simplifying things, learning the profiles, really taught me patience and kind of taught me to slow down, back up, and really kind of figure out um, how to trade for myself instead of trying to, you know, learn to trade using someone else's technique.
I love that. I think trading is it's a learned profession. I mean, obviously, some people say you either you are or you aren't, but I think there's a lot we can learn from other people, and then take what we've learned from other people and apply it to what works for us. And that's been my biggest thing with trading, just in general, is you can sit down with some of the best traders in the world that every trade they make, it's like they've got a golden thumb. They touch it, they're making money almost. And you can try and emulate and copy what they're doing, but ultimately it's not going to work for you because it's everything going on inside our head is different. The thought process, our appetite for risk, looking at the dollar signs, that really can change from person to person, even if they're executing the exact same way. I've got two last questions for you. Um, Number one, so many traders out there within the trading combine or just trading in their own accounts. You know, they go through these struggles or these down points. What is some advice that, if you were to look back from when you began to where you're at now, what's some advice you would say to yourself in the beginning?
There were a lot of times where I mean, really kind of wanted to just throw in the towel. You know, the combine, you're not. It's obviously simulated, so you kind of sit there and say, "Oh, I'm gonna throw it away, and I'll get a reset and just kind of start fresh." And I
Hmm.
found that that was really poisonous to my mentality. It was when I got down to that level, I found it really easy to just kind of throw on especially in step one, to throw on like just a 5 lot and see what happens kind of thing. Cause you get within like $500 of your max drawdown, you kind of sit there and go, oh, screw this. I'm just going to see what happens and throw something to the wind. And, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And, you know, it's a crapshoot. But um, yeah, when I found myself doing that, I had to just walk away. And because I got frustrated, temper started to flare, just kind of got upset. You know, you start pounding your fists on the desk. Um, Walking away was pretty much the only thing. Coming back a few hours later, even next day, and just kind of walk and sitting there and saying, hey, you know, the long term goal here is to make money and to be,
Right.
and when you do manage your risk appropriately, those good trades come and those home runs will eventually hit. But I mean, you focus on the singles and doubles, and those trades will come to you as
Everyone kind of comes in with that Gordon Gecko feeling of, I'm going to make tons of money.
yeah,
But before you can make tons of money, you have to stop losing money, because typically that's step
exactly.
one, is you're going to lose money, and that's inevitable and part of trading. Then step two is we're going to create some sustainability, and then we're going to try and hold on to what we have. Even if we flatline zero for up 100, down 100, up 100. Hey, that's sustainability. We're doing well. And now then you start to create profits. It's totally scalable. All right. Last question for you, and I'll let you get on out of here back to the markets. How's your experience been with Top Step?
It's been great. I mean, I recommend it to people, friends. I already had a buddy who signed up the other year with me, and he's funded too. So I recommend it just simply because it does teach sustainability. You don't To be a profitable trader and to do this for a living, you don't have to hit home runs. I mean, you just need to learn to manage your risk and to not lose money every day.
Absolutely.
Because as long as you figure that out, I mean, you can do this forever. I mean, there's a reason why traders who are true professionals don't retire, right? I mean, they maybe don't go into the office every day, but they're trading, and it's because this is something you can do day in and day out as long as you learn how to be sustainable first.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate sitting down with me. Thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing your name up on the board and continue to keep cruising here in the funded account.
All right, thanks, Dan.
Thank you.